Hello and welcome back. So today we are going to be designing modal boxes. Okay. Basically, if you go through the materials on the portal, you would learn more about modal boxes. So these are basically interfaces that give some extra visual context or allow a user to carry out extra functions when using a particular app. Okay. So modal boxes are very useful in designing user interfaces because it gives you this window to actually perform actions without loading a new screen. Okay. So most of the time, these actions are contextual, right? So it depends on something. You click on something, then it comes up. And then from there, you can, perform other actions. So for our own, we are going to be using a modal menu right here. So we want a situation whereby when you click on this particular icon, okay, when you click on this icon right here, it's going to launch a modal menu for you to select what you want to do. And like I said last time, the three basic transactions we want this app to do is cash transfer, buy airtime, and also bill payment. So these are the three basic things we want it to do. Okay. And also, when you want to make a payment or when you want to complete a transaction, it should also give you a modal to impute your PIN. That way you are able to, we are adding some form of security for the app. So instead of just clicking on OK and then it goes through, we should have some form of security to ask people, okay, confirm your transaction PIN before you can complete this transaction. So that's what we're trying to do. And we are going to be designing two today, but with the same concept, you can design different types of modal and pop-ups. Without further ado, let's go. So the first thing, I'm just going to get my frame here because I want to use my frame as a reference. So let me use this iPhone 15. So the first one I want to do now, I want the height to be around, okay, let me just use this as a reference. So the first thing I want to do now is to get my menu, okay, my menu. So like I said, three things: cash transfer, buy airtime, bill payments. So let me pick my text tool and type the first one. I want to do cash transfer, okay, cash transfer. And once I do cash transfer, I want to also add a small icon beside it. And let's go ahead and pick our lightning bolt icon. Go to assets. On assets, let's search for lightning bolts. Okay. So I'm just going to pick this for now. Okay. So pick this, and for this, because it's a link, we want it to be a little bit thick. So let's go ahead and use our body semi-bold, this particular one 16. Okay, good. That's the one we want to use. Now for this one, for the color, let's go with green. Let's go with green for the color. We just want to add some. Okay, and for this particular one, instead of black, let's go with that our deep primary 900. I think most of our black we might change it to this primary 900. Now I'm going to select the two of them and do Shift A. Now for the space between them, let's use 16. Now at this point, you can actually decide to convert this to an auto layout. Okay, sorry, I mean you can actually decide to convert this to a component, so you can easily edit it next time. Okay, or you can just leave it. But I think this 8 is much. The 16 is much. Let's go ahead and put in 8 there. Okay, so I'm just going to use this for now the way it is. And don't forget, because it's something we're anticipating that users are going to touch, let's go to the height and make it 48. Okay, good. So let's center it right there, center, left center. Okay, and let's add some good padding. Let's just go with 16. Or let's just leave it. Okay, we'll add the padding to the container itself. So this is okay. So let's double click, let's Control D. And for this one, we are going to call buy airtime. Okay, buy airtime. And for this airtime, we're just going to change this to, let's see, ticket. Okay, ticket. And then we are going to also Control D. Okay, and for this one, let's go ahead and call it bill payment. Bill payments. Okay, or utility payments. Anyone, let's use utility payments. So we have this three now. For this, let's go ahead and just let's look for credit card. Does it credit card? Okay, great. So I'm going to select this three now. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to do Shift A. So once I do Shift A, for the space between, let's go ahead and put in very tiny one there. 4. I barely want any, but let's just go ahead and put 4 there. And we're just going to select everything here and make sure it is fill container. Okay, fill container, because you want it to fill that container so that if the user is tapping close to it, it should work. So fill container right there. Now for this parent one, we are going to give it 32. That's left and right 32. And for the top, let's try 16. Okay, I think this is now if I move this here, let's go ahead and give this a color. That's I want to use color white. Okay, and for our corner radius, let's make sure we click on clip content. Okay, for our corner radius, let's only give this side 16 and also this side 16. Then I think that is okay. So let me bring it here just for us to see what we are doing. Let me bring it inside here. Okay, let me just drop it inside here. Let me take it to the left, and I want to go ahead and increase this so that it covers the whole thing. So this is what we are trying to get, something like this. Let's make it to the bottom. So we're looking for something like this. Okay, so with this now, when you tap on that icon, this should pop up and you can choose the transaction you want to do. Now don't forget, we always have this save space under here, so it's important. Why we are not actually leaving that empty space there is because, you know, we are designing, but always consider it. Make sure you don't put your elements don't come to this bottom part. Next thing I want to do, let's go ahead and apply some shadow to it. Let's click on effect, and we just want a little bit of shadow so that we know exactly what we're trying to do. So let's go ahead and add that shadow there. Let me select. Okay, let's go ahead and add that shadow. And for this shadow, I just want to increase the blur. I don't want the Y axis. Okay, we just want to increase the blur to somewhere around 32. So you can see we have that effect right there. Okay, so you can see we have that shadow effect right there. So you can actually use black, or we can choose a shade of blue. Let's see. Let's go ahead and use a shade of this blue. Okay, so let me just click on this and then select this. Right, so let me go back so we can see what's going on. But remember, you don't want to leave this like this. Okay, you want to go ahead and maybe let's go to HSB and let's kind of desaturate this down to somewhere around 40. Okay, then it reduce it further, reduce the opacity to around 50%. We don't want it to, you know, we don't want it to be out there in the eyes of people. So yeah, so this shadow is okay. So we're just going to use the shadow like this. So this is basically what we want. When someone clicks on it, it should basically give us this this pop-up right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is to just drag it out. Okay, so drag it out. Let's call it menu. We can still come back to adjust it later. Okay, menu pop-up. Now, how do you create your pop-up effect? So it's very easy to create your pop-up effect. All you need to do is to come to prototype now. Okay, so once you're on prototype, what you want to do is to come in here. Now remember, this menu is an instance of a component, so we're not going to apply it here. Instead, we are coming to this main menu to apply it so that it will be like on the parent component, right? So let's go ahead and select this, and we're just going to drag from here to this guy. Now under this navigate to, you want to click on it and you want to say open overlay. Okay, not navigate to, not set variable, go to open overlay. Now you're going to tell it to open overlay to this guy, and instead of instant, we want to use move in so that it can, you know, move in from the direction. We want it from the bottom up, so select this direction. Now it's asking you, how do you want it to appear? Is this on the center, on the left to right, or top left, or what, or from the bottom? So for this particular one, we're going to say from the bottom. So let's click on this bottom center, and then We want to also say close when user click outside. When people just click anywhere that is not within this pop-up, it should minimize it, it should close it. Yes, we want that. So click on it. And we also want it to add like a dark tint. Okay. We want it to also add like a dark tint. So yeah, let's go ahead there and select add background. Let's come back here. Make sure you are mirroring this on your phone so you can actually see what's going on. Okay. So let's come back to design and let me select this. And now if you go back to your phone and click on this, you will see that menu pop up. And when you click outside, it's just going to go back. So if you don't have that result, it's very important that you redo it. So let's go ahead and preview it. Let me click on this preview so you can actually see what I'm saying. Oops, I don't want that preview. Let's go ahead. Let me click on this and let me say preview. I want preview, not present. Okay, now you can see if I come in here and click, it pops up. Okay, when I click outside, it goes away. Click, it pops up, and I click outside, it goes away. So this is what you want to get. Okay, and I think I might just need to go here. Let's come in here. For this pop-up, I want to make the height 200 instead of 184. Let's make it 200. Okay, so we have more space at the bottom right there. So let's select back on this and let's test it out again. Okay, let me move this by the way. And once you click, you have it right there. And once you click outside, it goes away. Okay, so this is how you add pop-up in Figma. So for this one, we're using a pop-up menu. Okay, so like I said, later we are going to still use this to do some testing to see if this navigation is really working. Or should we just do like, 5 icon navigation with the home, cash transfer, buy Airtel, utility payments, and the profile. So later on, you have to create a new menu, and then we test it. Now, based on our results, we can stick to one. But for now, I just want us to cover this so we can use it to cover pop-ups and overlays. Okay. The last overlay we are going to create now is going to be an overlay. So let me close this. An overlay for our payment confirmation. So before you make a payment, we need a pop-up that's going to ask you, are you sure you want to make this payment? Okay. So for that, I'm going to pick my text tool and let me go ahead and type, you are about to send 5,000 naira from your account to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. Full stop. Let's say, please enter your PIN to confirm this transaction. Okay. Let me go ahead and reduce this so that we have that content right here. Okay. And I'm just using this for guide. Okay. This particular frame. Okay, so let's enter this text, and we want to use the normal one, body base, not the bold, the normal one, base. Yes, so this is what we want to use. So let's go ahead and then, so the next thing we want to have is, let's type in enter pin. Okay, enter pin. And we just want to create some kind of boxes that will indicate when the person enters the pin. So I'm coming here now, draw my ellipse, and for this ellipse I want to go ahead and give it size 24. Let's go ahead and use 32. Let's use size 32. Okay, and I'm just going to make this 4. So let's say we are giving them options to put in 4 pin code. So let me select this, and for these guys I'm going to put them in an auto frame. So for this auto frame, let's go ahead and add space between them, 16. Okay. And for left, right, 32. And top, 16. We are still going to test this later. So for the color, let's go with our blue 50. And for these guys inside, let's go with white. Okay. Fill white. Okay, so let's make this rounded, well-rounded. So let's go with 100 is well-rounded. Okay, so that is for enter pin. Remember these two texts. I'm going to select these two texts, and for the color, I'm going to use our blue 900. Now, maybe for this 5,000 naira, just for contest, okay, I want to select it and go ahead and make it bold. Bold, base bold. The same thing with this. account number here. I also want to go ahead and make it bold. Now we could actually add more writing there to increase the context, but right now we're just more focused on this particular one. Now for this enter pin, I'm not going to make it bold. Instead, I'm just going to use that semi bold we created. Now these two, they are the same. So I'm going to select the two of them, but before then, let me duplicate this. Okay, let me select 1, 2, and let's do Shift A. Now with Shift A, let me go ahead and make them 8. So yeah, we are good with this. So for here, we're just going to put in cancel in case the person didn't do this intentionally. Then we want to go back and use our normal text, the base. Okay, now for the color, since it's like something clickable, let's use our blue 500. So with this, let's add Shift A to this and make it 48 because it's going to be something that they're likely going to tap, and we're going to add a stroke to it, stroke 50. And for the stroke, we might just leave it for the top. Okay, so we have that stroke 50 there. So let's go ahead and select these two and Shift A. Now for these two, let's select this and make this fill container. Let's add some padding to this so that it's bouncing. So let's go with let's say 32, and for the top bottom 32, and also for the space between, let me use 32. Okay, and yeah, so this should do. And okay, let's select this and this now and do Shift A. Now for this one, I want to go ahead and also make it fill container. Okay, so now let's select the parent one and make sure you activate clip content. And for our border radius, we're still using 16. Okay, let's go ahead and add a fill to this, the white. Now let me just bring this here for testing purposes. Okay, let me bring this here. Okay, now one thing you want to do when designing this type of pop-ups, you want to make sure it is, let me center it so you can see, you want to make sure it is not exactly on your grid. So it shouldn't be exactly on your grid. You can do that if you want, but ideally you just want to give it a little bit of space. Okay, so because of that, let me just come in here, and instead of 368, let me just come in there and make this thing 390. You just want to give it a little bit of space. Okay, exactly. So you don't want it to hog these guys. Remember, this is on another screen. You are allowed to just do something like that. So we want to make it 390 so that it just covers it. So with this out of the way, I think our pop-up is done. So to test our pop-up, remember, we're not using it here yet. So let me just drag it and keep it here. Now to test it, let's call this confirmation pop-up. Confirmation pop-up. Okay. And to test this, we're not using it now, it's just testing, but this one is set. Okay, this one is set. Now to test our pop-up, let's go ahead and go to prototype, and let's use this other button. This other button. Okay, let's use this other button to test it. So we want to say when you click on profile, come in here, and navigation type, it should be open this pop-up, and we want to put it at the center right there. Yes, add background. Yes, close when not touched. Okay, we want to choose the animation moving. Okay, yes, for this one we can choose from top. Let's check this from bottom. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do some testing. Let me go and click right here, preview, and we want to select this guy and do this testing. Let's go ahead and click on this. Okay, so you can see that right there. If you click outside, it goes off. If you click here, it comes back in. I'm thinking I want to change the direction. There's just something with it coming from the bottom. Okay, so let's test this again better. Okay, so we have this and we have our pop-up. So the person inputs their password, their PIN code, and then confirm the transaction. Or you can do this and choose whichever transaction you want to do. So with this, we've actually come to the end of today's class. So what you need to do is to, once you've tested and it's working, go ahead and delete this particular interaction. We don't want that yet. Okay, we don't want that yet, so we'll do that later. Okay, this is the only one we want for now. So this is the only interaction we want for now. Later on, we are going to create the screen that will use this particular pop-up. Okay, I'm seeing something. So just select this, and instead of all, make it few containers so that we have something uniform there. Okay, see you in the next class, and bye bye.